Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is December the 15th, 2020, and today the topic is called Get Your Mind Right. This morning I woke up and I was a little, how can I say, indifferent, It took me a minute to get on up or get out of the bed. I mean, it's not that I wasn't up, it's just that I don't know, maybe my mind wasn't right. So, by the time I came in here, I just spent some time just kind of reflecting, kind of looking, and also probably being distracted. So it was a combination of all those things. And, eventually I'm like, I need to go ahead and start this routine. So I ended up, at that time, I just did my prayer and meditation because I just was like, well, maybe I won't work out, even though maybe I should, I feel like probably I should have came on in here and worked out to help get my mind right, But, I did, and I started off with when I did decide to go ahead and start, I started off with my prayer and meditation, and then after that, even though that was good, that was a good time to just kind of reflect and help get my mind right. But I was like, I need to do something physical right now to kind of help with that as well. I was going to do a little bit of, I used to work out with this previous app, so I was going to do some of that, maybe some stretches or something. But then I was like, nah, let me do a little Faith Fit, even though, the Faith Fit exercises is like 30 minutes. And so I was like, I'll give a good 5 minutes. I'll do the warm up. So I chose one or whatever, and I did the warm up, and that helped me clear my mind of things as well. And so here I am. I would say as soon as I finished up with that, the phrase "get your mind right" came to mind, and I looked up the verses, and here we are. So get your mind right. Again, you and me, right? You and me. I'm not just out here just telling you to get your mind right. Get my mind right too. So let's go. Let's get into it. Colossians 3:2 says, "Set your mind on things that are above and not." Excuse me. I'm gonna read what it says. Set your mind on things that are above and not things that are on the earth. I tell you guys all the time, it's easy, and you guys know yourselves, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the things going on. Honestly, I think that was part of my issue this morning, because I was kind of thinking and trying to figure out if something happened over the night in regards to everything that's on the news right now and stuff like that. And that's the thing, it's like not knowing what to really trust when I listen to news outlets and stuff like that. It's like, at this point, the way I feel, what I'm learning, whatever the case is, it just all seems to be a little bit corrupted right now. So I don't know what to believe, if that makes any sense. So trying to figure out if something happened over the evening while I was asleep, and where to go for the information and just all that. So we need to be setting our minds on the things above anyway. And maybe that's the perspective that I needed this morning, and also I guess the perspective I'm sharing with you all. Again, it's easy to get overwhelmed and consumed by the things going on. But again, setting our mind on things of God, it helps us to understand that, I guess put things into perspective. But then I guess it's like, how can I say? It's not, it just, I want to say something that came to me, I want to say some years ago, was that, nothing really matters outside of God. Nothing. And if we put that on our minds and acknowledge that, then it puts things into perspective. But I get it. Again, when we live here on earth, and we're affected by the things that are happening now and around here on earth, and so it's hard to think of the things of the spirit. And I get that. If anybody else can agree with that, I don't know, but sometimes it's hard to think on the things of God and to think of the things of the spirit when we are in the midst of whatever, that we're physically going through. So again, I know that's next level thinking to set your mind on God about all things. But we got to get into it. Like, let's say, myself included. I'm not sitting here, again, spouting out anything that I'm saying that I don't need to do as well. I need to do it too. So I guess part of me wonders, like, how can we do that? It's like simple in regards to being like, pray and acknowledge God in all our ways and all the things, I guess like that people say it's easier said than done somehow, we gotta figure that out though. I think we need to figure that out, individually as well as together. We all need to figure that part out. So that's something to start with. That's what the verse says. So that's what we need to do. We need to figure out how to start doing that. Now, I found this verse interesting. It's Mark 5:15. It says, "And they came to Jesus and saw the demon-possessed man, the one who had the legion, sitting there clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid." Now, I found that interesting this morning when I was reading that and when I wrote it down. I just was like, you know what? That's interesting. If you guys remember that story in the Bible, that gentleman, he pretty much, he could not be contained. Like, he could not be kept in chains. He was cutting himself, crying, all these crazy things, right? And then Jesus comes to town and he starts to worship him and, lets Jesus know that, there's a legion inside, like there's apparently about 2,000 unclean spirits within this man, and I guess I found it interesting that the people, according to this verse right here, is saying that when they saw him sitting there clothed in his right mind, they were afraid. I'm sitting here wondering, like, well, interesting, because when he was running around, cutting himself, crying, all these things, couldn't be contained, I don't recall anything in there about them being afraid. But then when he's sitting there clothed in his right mind, you afraid? I just found that to be interesting. I don't know what that's telling you today. Again, you can go deeper with that thought. When you think about that. So there's something, how can I say? There's something scary about being clothed in your right mind compared to being compared to all the running around and crying and can't be contained and stuff like that. I think for me, it just kind of felt like sometimes people get so used to you in the state that you like. They want you to stay in the state that you're in. They don't want you to, they don't want you to renew your mind. They don't want you to, think on the things of God. They don't want you to, be clothed and in your right mind, according to the Bible, which is focused on God and clean and all those things. People would rather have you, putting yourself in harm's way and doing all this crazy stuff like that. That's cool. Like, if you over here trying to renew your mind as the Bible tells us to do. Oh no, wait a minute. Something is scary about that. I found that to be interesting. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's just people I mean, in this, it was referring to the people, I guess, that was around him type of thing. But, I wouldn't just put it on the people. I just think in general, maybe you can think of the masses versus believers. I mean, I don't know what way would be a good way for to make it more clear to you. But for me, again, when I read that verse, it was kind of interesting to see the reaction of the people seeing the man clothed in his right mind. They were like, and I get it. I mean, I guess if you're so used to someone being a certain way and then they switch up, you might be a little, like perturbed by that. But it seems like they should have been celebrating with the man, or being like, wow, what is this that didn't happen to you type of thing. Some of the verses go to say, I went to read that passage, and then some of the verses go to say that they were wanting him to leave, and then he went to try to come with Jesus, and Jesus was like, no, go back and tell them of all the wonderful things that I've done for you, X, Y, and Z. And so, it's just interesting. Don't you think that's interesting? I think that's very interesting to just think about that. Like, there's something scary about when you become clothed in your right mind. So, I mean, I got let me leave that alone. Let's keep going. 2 Corinthians 10 and 5. It says, we destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive to obey Christ. Again, renewing our minds. This is what we need to be doing. Like, again, you guys know I said a lot of times I don't like to debate, especially when it comes to the Bible. I don't like to debate with the Bible, because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I can read what it say, and I can tell you what it say. Now, if you want to debate about it, if you don't believe in X, Y, and Z, you're free not to. That's just me. Again, God is yet working on me about that, and what I am to do about, I guess, the way I think about that type of thing. But yeah, regardless though, it's like, we need to be destroy these arguments and lofty opinions, that's raised against the knowledge of God. And, anything that's coming against the knowledge of Christ, we need to be pretty much shutting it down. This isn't in my verses today, but I was thinking about that verse to say, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Now, for real though, I mean, yep, this is what we need to do. Let's get our mind right, friend. Now, these next two verses, let me see. How do we want to do this, Lord? Which one of these? So, do you want me to do both of them? Okay, let's check this out. Let's go to Acts 28 and 27. It says, For this people's heart has grown dull, and with their ears they can barely hear, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and turn. My mama gonna get at me. She like, look, girl, I told you about your writing. Something. I don't know what it says right now, but it then said, I will heal them. Let me get some more. Understand with their heart and yeah, I really don't know what that says. I can't even tell what that says. I was just writing, y'all. But it ends with, I would heal them. What I'll do is I'll just keep it in the go, because I was debating about putting it in the go deeper section anyway. So that verse would be in the go deeper section. But it's interesting what it was saying about like the heart and the people's heart has grown dull, their ears can barely hear, and their eyes, have been closed. And I mean, I guess these are the examples of when your mind isn't right. You can't see, you can't hear. It just really, it controls. Well, like they say, the brain controls every part of the body. And so if your mind's not right, you're not gonna be able to see, you're not gonna be able to hear, you're not gonna be able to, do any of those things. And so, again, just another reason to get your mind right, because God said He will heal you. You just gotta open your eyes and hear with your ears, understand with your heart. All right, let's keep going. Let me see. We got here Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Again, it's easy to get caught up in the things of this world. It's easy to get caught up in all the negativity and all the things. But hey, let's set our minds on, I guess if we're wondering how to set our minds on things, I mean, these are the things that we should set our minds on. The things that are honorable, pure, commendable, anything that's excellence and worthy of praise. I mean, hey, I guess these are the things. This is how we can actively do this. So yeah, and I guess that was the question earlier, like how can we, choose to set your mind on the things of God. Choose to set your mind on the things that are worthy of praise. And of course, all praise and honor goes to our Heavenly Father, which is very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up with the Bible verse of today. Check it out. Matthew 5 and 16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow with the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
There's no time to get my nails done. Oh, I know. I went to unwindselfcare.com and got my 100% nail polish strips. Thanks, Unwind Self-Care.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is December the 16th, 2020, and today the topic is called Check Your Heart. You guys would not believe what I just went through. Trying to figure out the name of the topic. But yeah, I'll give you guys a quick rundown of the morning. I did do my routine this morning. I feel good. Worked out with the Faith Fit app. I ended up, since I did the workout that I started on yesterday, because as you guys know, yesterday I just kind of did the warm-up of it. And so today I actually did the rest of the routine, and for my warm-up I just kind of did like a little dance party with myself or whatever the case was. So yeah, I mean, needless to say, I felt real good after I finished that workout this morning. Tired and sweaty and all that stuff, but still felt good. And again, I keep telling myself, man, I need to keep doing it. Like, I need to not take the breaks. But then I guess sometimes, I don't know what it is. Like, sometimes if I come in here and I'm not like, I don't know if I was going to say hype, but I don't know what to say, y'all. But I don't know why sometimes I do the workout and sometimes I don't. But I feel good every time I do it. So that's that. But anyway, so did the prayer meditation, and the interesting thing was today, after my prayer meditation, it just felt really, really quiet. It was like there was no sound, and I was like, is this the message today, Lord? Is it gonna be the stillness? What is this? And everything like that. And it led me to read some Bible verses and stuff like that. But then I guess, my mind went back to the heart. And I say back to the heart because I gotta make the long story short. So, okay, long story short. As I've been telling you guys, I've been jamming to that Montel Fish. Y'all see me every now and then. I'm tagging different songs that I'm listening to of his. I would say, the past couple of months now. I've been jamming to his music and stuff like that. And one of the songs he did with another, I guess they're a band, but they have one individual. I don't know, but it seems like a band or whatever the case is. I would put his name out. Okay, the band is called Ecclesia or something like that. And so he does a song with them, and I be jamming to that song. It's a really cool song. So anyway, so when I went to, I just, after listening to the song so many times, I'm like, I wonder who this person is or whatever. So I looked them up or whatever, and I came across the guy's Instagram. I would say, again, it's like a front guy, so I don't know who the rest of the people in the band is, because it only has a lot of images of him. But anyway, so it can, like, I guess, here's my thing about art and stuff like that. So I have a great appreciation for art and artists. I feel like I myself am also an artist at heart. I never tried to paint, or I never tried to create art, because I have throughout life, different little pieces or whatever the case is. Like, I remember going to like art classes and stuff like that when I was younger and stuff like that. And maybe that came from my mama. So shout out to mama. But yeah, I haven't really tried to for real create art, but I always have that like desire or whatever the case is. So when I look on this gentleman's Instagram, for me, I see a lot of art, which was inspiring. Now I get, as a Christian artist, whatever the case is, people have issues with art that they may not understand. I'll put it like that. And so, aside from me being inspired by looking at his art, there was some questionable stuff to be like, it was a little questionable just because of the climate of today and how things have been taken out of context. Biblical things have been taken out of context. So it's kind of hard when you use those symbols now, you know what I mean? I'll just put it like that. And so, some of that was kind of like, okay. But other than that, I mean, for me, again, I wasn't offended by any of the images that I was seeing and stuff like that. However, us Christians, I'll just put it like that, us Christians, we can be the most un-Christ-like group of people ever, and my thing is, if you're going to be like that, then just don't proclaim Christ, because you just put a bad name. And don't get me wrong now, because I'm going to say some stuff. Don't get me wrong, so let me go ahead and put the disclaimer out there. Yes, I feel that there are rules and boundaries and things that, God isn't pleased of. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a balance. I think that's what it is. There's a balance between that type of stuff. Now, I don't think God should be put in a box. I think God is the creator, and he created all things. And that's how he's the ultimate creator. So anything that we create is technically his creation. So he created you to create the things. So, you know what I mean? So for me, when I see art, or when I see someone expressing themselves in a way that may be a little different, I'm not offended by it. I'm not going to go and bash it or whatever the case is. Now, again, I understand there's a certain standard as a Christian, but again, what I saw on the gentleman's page, aside from his art, is, a lot of opinions and a lot of, people calling him all the things that they could call somebody, and you know all the stuff that people say in regards to if they feel like you're not Christian enough, or your images aren't Christian enough, or whatever the case is. And y'all know like what I just encountered with that, with my art of acting. And so for me, I guess maybe I'm looking at it from that lens as well, because I'm like, sometimes God's gonna lead you to do some stuff that people may not understand, and I get that part. Now again, and if we're wrong about it, then by all means, repent and everything like that. But if God lets the man to create the art, and he's doing, like, just pray about it, whatever the case is. But I just don't go and bash people in their art. I just put it like that. So I just felt led was it this morning or last night? I think it probably was last night before I went to bed. I don't know. He kept coming to my mind throughout the day, and I would go and like look at a video of his, or go and listen to some music, or go and look at his page and just kind of look at some of the images, or look at some of the stuff he was putting out, and then read some of the comments of all the people, what people were saying and stuff like that. And there's some that appreciate, some that don't. And so I just kind of felt led last night to just send him a message. Now, I know it's on Instagram. He probably got a lot of people sending him messages, so I don't even necessarily expect him to see it or to respond. But if he does, I hope that it encourages him. That was my point. So if he does see it, I hope it encourages him. And whatever the case is, I did my part, is what I'm saying. I felt led to do it, so I did it. So basically, I sent him a message and let him know, like, hey, I get it, you know what I'm saying? Christians, we can be terrible. All the stuff I just told you. I didn't say terrible, but I said literally what I just told you, so I'm trying not to say that same thing again. But I was telling him that, and then I also shared with him that, at the end of the day, I'm not going to judge or bash your art, or not say judge, because y'all know don't get me started on that word. I told him I'm not going to bash his art, and I'm not going to condemn his art, or whatever the case is. At the end of the day, I'm like, and God knows your heart behind your art. So, you know what I mean? If your heart's right, then by all means, you know what I'm saying? If your heart ain't right, you know that too, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't up to me to condemn or whatever your art, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, hey, I'm somebody, I appreciated your art. I was inspired by your art, and I just kind of left it at that, or whatever the case is. That's like a real random. It was put together way better than that, but I just sent him a message, and I told him, I just pray for him and stuff like that, and just hope that he has love, peace, and joy in his life and stuff like that. Because I think, from what I was seeing of some of the stuff, like, he hasn't posted any like new music or something like that for like 3 months now. So who knows where the man's at? You know what I mean? Like, his mind could be all over the place right now. He could be, feeling down by all the bashing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know where people are in their life, and where they are in their walks and stuff like that. And then we do have to understand that people are on different levels. Now don't get me wrong. Now, this word I got some word for you. So the word's gonna call stuff out too, and that don't. So I think there's a balance with that. I just don't think, and this could just be me in my little understanding, but I just don't think that. I just feel like there's times in the Bible where Jesus called stuff out straight up, and then there's times in the Bible where Jesus was like showed grace and mercy. You know what I'm saying? So I just think we just need to use discernment, and I just think that when we talk to people and approach people about whatever sin or whatever the case is, like, I just feel like, honestly, and again, Matt, who knows now? But I just feel like, for me, when it comes to talking to people about their sins, like, I don't go out of my way to go and point out somebody's sin. Like, at the end of the day, if somebody comes and talks to me about whatever the case is, and they want my opinions or whatever the case is, then I'll share it. But other than that, I don't be going around and trying to look for, the sin in people, or try to look for, look, you did. Like, that's not me, but people are like that. And like I said, I feel like there's a balance. There's a balance between when you're supposed to call something out, and then when you're supposed to just show grace and mercy. Like, So I don't know, but I just feel like, hey, we Christians, you know what I'm saying? We need to be out here making disciples. We need to be out here, not just, I said, show love, yes. Tell the truth in love as well. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So, at the end of the day, this all led me to share with you all today about checking our hearts. So yeah, it's so funny because I have so many titles up here. It's so maybe for my Facebook and YouTube people, I'll read it afterwards. So that'll be, I'll read some of my names that I was going to name this episode today. But anyway, let's get into the word so y'all know that I'm not just talking to you. Okay, here we go. Proverbs 27:19. It says, "As in water, face." I promise you guys, I wrote better today. I promise you. It's not that. I just marked something out. That's what it was. Okay. As in water, face reflects face, so too the heart of man reflects the man. Let that marinate. Okay. As in water, face reflects face, so too the heart of man reflects the man. So y'all all know how you can look in the water and you see your face and X, Y, and Z. So that is in Proverbs, that's a good word right there. I feel like it's a great thing to start with to recognize that, because again, it's just giving us an example of what the heart represents. So yeah, that's why we need to check it and make sure. Anyway, here we go. 1 Samuel 16:7. I've read this to you guys on the juice before. I was going to put it in the go deeper section, but I'm gonna go ahead and read it to you again because it fits with this scenario situation. So again, 1 Samuel 16:7. It says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on his appearance or the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." Why does he look on the heart, y'all? Because the heart reflects the man. And y'all know we do this. Y'all know we as humans, we look at people from the outside and then we're thinking all the good things or whatever the case is. People can put on the front, y'all. But what is in the heart is what is important. That is the true person. What is in their heart. John 7:38 says, "Whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water." So there's some other verses that kind of go along those lines too, and it just kind of made me think this morning, it's just, I told you guys before, it's annoying to me, people that has so much to say, but they ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? You ain't doing nothing for the kingdom, but you got so much to say about people that are doing it. Like at the end of the day, when I think about this person I was just sharing with you guys, the Ecclesia band, whatever the case is, like, he's out here creating music for Jesus. Now, whether you think it's art or whatever the case is Christian or whatever the case is, hey, all I'm saying is, what have you done for the kingdom? Like, you know what I mean? Have you checked your heart? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're out here doing something, but like, I just feel like there's I just don't know, like, why random people feel the need to tell people how to do something. Like, by all means, like, I don't know, like, I feel like that is there's something positive. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I don't know if that's too deep. I don't know if it's too deep. Okay, I'm gonna try to tell y'all in a roundabout way without, giving out my business, because some of this ain't your business. No, I'm just kidding. My husband and I was talking about this yesterday. Something along the same lines. It was like, I was telling him about something that happened, and how, kind of how I felt about it. And he was like, you should tell the person. And I'm like, nah, because, I don't feel like it's my place to tell the person. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this person is that person. You know what I mean? And this person and that person has a whole situation. You know what I mean? So that ain't my place to tell them about their situation. You know, at the end of the day, it's up to them to handle their situation. You know what I mean? Now, I can have an opinion about it, you know, and I can share with you as my husband my opinion about it. But at the end of the day, for me to exert myself into their situation and try to tell somebody about themselves or tell somebody what they need to do or whatever the case is, like, that ain't my place, in my opinion. Now, you know, I don't feel like that's my place. And even if it is, like, I just feel like there's certain, that's me. That's me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, I respect people in their places. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's not my situation to speak on in that aspect, in my opinion. You know, now again, that's me, because I don't like conflict. I don't like debate. I done said it a whole bunch of times. So that could just be me and my little personality. But I think it's also a respect thing. It's also a honoring people in their positions thing, and all of that. So at the end of the day, you know, because even if people are doing things you don't like that are, you know, but if they are in a position above you or whatever the case is, then you need to, I mean, that ain't my, you know what I mean? Like, let's stay in our lanes here. You know what I mean? And X, Y, and Z. And so for me, like, whoever is ministering to this young man, they are in a position to correct the young man. You know, whoever his mentors, whoever his accountability partners, those are the people that are in the position to correct this man. Random person, audience person, like, who are you to correct this man, like, or tell this man that God, that's all I'm saying. Like, let's let the ones in the position. Now, again, like, God can use anybody to say a message, so I'm not saying that, but I just feel like sometimes we overstep boundaries in regards to what we feel like it's like, how you reaching somebody like that, though? You don't reach nobody with, like, spouting out negativity, like, and don't get me wrong now. Don't get me wrong, because you know what? Here, this gonna help us. This gonna help us right here today. This next verse right here. Again, I'm not saying to you that do anything goes, X, Y, and Z. Because here's an example right here. Now, this was Jesus now. Okay? If I'm not mistaken. I didn't go read the whole thing this morning, so but I'm pretty sure Jesus said this right here. Here we go. Matthew 12:34. It says, "You brood of vipers, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks." Straight up said, you brood of vipers. Okay? So, here's the thing. Now, again, Jesus is in a position to call people out, because he's, you know... I'm just saying, you know, he's in that position, so calling them out in that way, I mean, I guess obviously he's in a position to do that. But it also shows us that, again, you know, it's not anything goes. It's not like, oh, you just, all that. Okay, so there are times to call things out. I'm not saying it's not. There are definitely times to call things out. But let's make sure that you're in the position to do so in regards to, hey, am I someone's mentor? Hey, am I, or is this my disciple that I'm leading to Christ? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I this person's whatever? You know what I'm saying? Or do I need to just pray for the person? Because sometimes that's your position, is just to pray for the person. You know what, Lord, you're funny to me. Stop. I promise y'all, I don't know what I don't be knowing what I'm gonna say, and it's so funny to me, this stuff that be coming out. But anyway, but sometimes it is. Sometimes your position is just to pray for somebody. Sometimes your position is to, let's just leave it at that. All right, so let's keep going. Proverbs 21:2 says, "Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the heart." So again, like I said, the man could feel like he's right. I could feel like I was right, for taking on what I did and X, Y, and Z. Now there's to me, I've been, I feel like it's been confirmed. But I mean, hey, again, at the same time too, I still kind of mentally struggle, or I'll still be like, you know what, like, doubt to creep in or whatever the case is, and then be like, man, well, should I repent? Or I already prayed about it and stuff. So that's another thing too. It's like I already prayed about it, so I'm like, I'm not gonna keep repenting for the same thing, so I'm not working. But we'll see. I don't know what God want me to do. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to these verses right here, the person could feel like they right? So what they need to do is, we all need to do, what I need to do, what we all need to do is check our hearts, okay? So in our hearts, check our hearts, go to God and check your heart. That'll let you know, okay? Psalms 19 and 14. This is a good example of a prayer to pray. Actually, these next two verses, good examples of a prayer to pray when we checking our heart. All of us need to be doing this. All of us need to check our heart, check our motives, check why we doing the things we do, okay? And that'll let you know a lot, because that's who you really are. So there you go with that. But anyway, so here's a good, example of a prayer to pray. Psalms 19 and 14. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Let's pray that prayer today, y'all. Continue the prayer and say Psalms 51 and 10. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Let's pray those prayers today. Let's add that to our prayers today. Let's check our heart, and that will ultimately let us know, what the motivation and where we're at with that. We all should individually do that, not just the gentleman I was telling you guys about, not just me. Everybody needs to be checking your heart, see where you really are, and then live accordingly. Go to God. See what He wants you to do about where your heart condition. The Bible verse of today is Colossians 3 and 13. It says, "Forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.